Hello, this is Dave from Black Leadership Analysis, and I've been doing some more thinking about this whole Popeyes chicken sandwich craze. And so if you don't know, the new Popeyes chicken sandwich has caused like a frenzy in the black community. A lot of folks have been making a lot of different memes on how great this chicken sandwich is. A lot of people have been even fighting at the restaurant when they've run out of chicken sandwiches. We think it might be over, the sandwich could be over anything, really. These people fought at the Popeyes. And I see a lot of black YouTubers making videos on it, and they're basically taking the stance of this is just more trivial, erratic behavior by black folks, and kind of really being anti-black with it. Trying to just make it out to seem there's something just wrong with black folks in general, or there's something that's wrong with black people from the hood, which is classism and anti-blackness put together, but that's beside the point. So I got a little bit different take on it, trying to explain why this chicken sandwich craze kind of took off. So the chicken sandwich by Popeyes was actually a way to compete with Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich. Now, Chick-fil-A has always been a very expensive to fast food standards restaurant. It's usually in wealthier neighborhoods, whereas Popeyes is really inexpensive, and it's usually in poor neighborhoods, black neighborhoods, and whatnot. So, to some extent, I think this could be a very perverted way, or a very stifled way to show pride in your own neighborhood. So I understand that Popeyes isn't black owned, and we should be supporting black businesses and big upping black businesses and sharing stories and good reviews of black businesses. But I think there's a lot of times we appropriate things from the large society as part of our community. And to some extent, Popeyes is kind of like one of those restaurants. I mean, it's something you see usually in the hood or in black areas of town. It's usually inexpensive, so you can treat yourself with some Popeyes if you don't have a whole lot of money. Whereas Chick-fil-A, it's a little bit harder to do that if you are a Chick-fil-A fan. So, because Chick-fil-A is more expensive. So I think part of it might have subconsciously just simply been that they wanted to say the restaurants in their neighborhood have a chicken sandwich or something better than what's in the upscale, quote unquote, white neighborhoods. So, of course, these, chicken sandwich frenzy videos don't explain that and the psychology behind all that. But I definitely think there's something to it. So there's another concept I want to talk about now that we are on the subject of stereotypes. There's a psychologist named Claude Steele. He's the brother of Shelby Steele. I did an analysis of Shelby Steele about a year ago. Well, Claude Steele came up with this term called stereotype threat. And so stereotype threat is when you actually experience, let me let this pass. Shout out to all the EMTs out here watching it. I know you guys serve our cities and states to the best of your ability. But like I was saying, stereotype threat. Stereotype threat was something proposed by a guy named Claude Steele. And what he was talking about with stereotype threat is it's an anxiety induced by the belief that you might be confirming a stereotype. And so this is one of the reasons why black people do worse in standardized tests and IQ tests, is because if you're taking a test and you're having a hard time, you realize that the people grading that test are going to be judging your entire race off your performance. So to test this, Claude Steele set up two testing scenarios. The first testing scenario, he told the people that this IQ test was one of the best IQ tests ever developed, and that It shows your intelligence like with high accuracy. The second group, he told them that this was an experimental IQ test and that they were trying to see if the IQ test was valid. So the first group believed that their performance on the test was actually a sign of their ability. The second group of people believed their performance on the test was a sign of the test being valid or not. Those in the second group performed higher at a rate of a standard deviation. So this was true, like I was saying. The first group believed that their performance on the test was indicative of their intelligence. The second group of people believed their performance on the test was indicative of the test maker's ability to make a test. And so you end up with the group of people in the second group of people scoring higher on the IQ test by standard deviation. And it's also important to realize that standard deviation is the average difference between black and white standardized test scores and black and white IQ test scores. So once they understood stereotype threat, they could actually give people therapy on what to do when they experience it, have people recognize when they're experiencing stereotype threat, and they actually can improve people's test performance by a standard deviation. And I think it's really important for black people to understand that psychology, because a lot of our lives, a lot of us have a harder time dealing with possibly confirming stereotypes. I would say for myself that oftentimes I'm not as assertive as I should be because I am worried about confirming the stereotype of an angry black man. And I think a lot of black people feel that way. I was also reading this article about enjoying eating watermelon in front of white people. So this lady with a PhD from University of North Carolina in history was at a seminar, and the seminar, they were serving watermelon in one of the break rooms, and she was about to get a piece to eat on break, and then she saw her white colleague over her shoulder, and she decided not to eat the piece of watermelon. And that's really unfortunate because she wasn't able to really enjoy and express herself at that moment because she was scared she would confirm a stereotype about watermelon. Now, the whole watermelon stereotype and the chicken stereotype actually comes from Reconstruction. A lot of people don't realize this. But during Reconstruction, the North disposed all the old politicians in the South, and oftentimes they replaced them with freed slaves that were educated. And so, of course, the white people there hated having mayors and governors that were black and senators that were black. So they said they were all incompetent, and they didn't do anything all day but eat chicken and watermelon. And that's where that stereotype comes from. So it's kind of horrible that we're this self-conscious about something that was just made as a derogation against us with no actual scientific or factual basis. And I think it's important to understand all this history and put it together with the psychology so you can live a more authentic life and understand when you're being faced with some kind of odd circumstance or you're stifling yourself because of stereotypes. So that's why I hate, and it's bothered me so much, I've seen so many black YouTubers that have followings over 1,000 people, 5,000, 6,000 people, disparaging people making videos about how good the chicken sandwich was. Now, I'm not gonna make a video myself on these chicken sandwiches. But I also want to say that if someone does, you know, they're not any kind of a reflection on me. There's nothing wrong with the video saying you really enjoyed a chicken sandwich or disliked it, whether it's from Chick-fil-A or Popeyes or wherever else you like it. But just understand, if you feel some kind of way about it, and you feel like you got to disparage these people for something that doesn't even involve you, you might be experiencing a little bit of internalized classism and a little bit of internalized anti-blackness. Well, that's all I got to say about that. Thanks for watching.